Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Catholic Education Foundation podcast number 48. This podcast will feature Will Wolford, retired NFL great, along with Catholic Education Foundation President Rich Lecklider. Will, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is a true honor.
Well, we listen, the honor is all ours. Trust me. We couple St. X boys here.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a whole
The mafia. The mafia's all here.
The mafia
there's
is all
Bill's
here.
Mafia, and then there's St. X Mafia. I think St. X Mafia was first.
And it's a real thing for sure. Will, we're thrilled to have you, one of St. X's best, on the show. And thank you, obviously, for making time to join us. And I should probably also mention you also are a wealth advisor for Morgan Stanley. So we're going to get into that here a little bit too, how you've been able to kind of juggle all these different careers. But there's so much to talk about: your family, your storied athletic career, your second career in investment world. There's so many contributions to our community. Let's start at the beginning. Tell us about the Wolford family and your early days here in Louisville.
I grew up here. I was a St. Agnes Aggie from kindergarten on.
St. Agnes.
I was the youngest of five in our family. So I had an older brother who was a year ahead of me. He kind of led the way. Lived all over the city. My dad was a bar owner / nightclub owner / well, every once in a while, he would close one down and move to a new location,
Okay.
which would coincide with a move from our house. So I've lived in Cherokee Park. I've lived off Beargrass Creek, lived in Hikes Point.
Were you ever a bouncer?
Later in life, yes. But I'm just talking about grade school and high school.
Okay.
We probably moved 5-6 times.
Wow. All right.
But a typical Catholic upbringing. I was the youngest, and when the family was having hard times, I had no idea. I just knew that St. Agnes was a great place to go to school, and then so was St. X. And some of the kids that I met in grade school and high school, I still talk to, weekly, sometimes daily. Built friendships that last forever.
Now, you were a multiple sport athlete growing up, right?
For sure. And the only one I really liked was basketball. I loved basketball. And, I mean, there was in our neighborhood, especially when I got a little older into high school, there was, the Brown family had a goal, and the Keebers had a goal, and the Sostridges had a goal, and I would just bounce around the neighborhood and play basketball every single day.
That's right, yeah.
Football was a sport that my dad made me play. And now, my older brother was really good. He was a really good football player and a real good track athlete, so my dad would make me go. So in fourth grade, he said, all right, you're not hanging around the house. You're going to play football. So I was one of the few fourth graders on the team at Agnes in fifth and sixth grade. But football is an acquired taste, but basketball, I truly loved it. I mean, growing up here, a lot of kids did.
Now, were you always kind of offensive line, or were you different positions growing up?
Not offensive line until I got to college. I was actually a running back in grade school. I made weight. My dad used to sweat me down so I could make the 125-pound weight limit to carry the ball in eighth grade.
It's actually a lot more now, I think.
Yeah, they've raised it to like 145, 150.
That's right. It's a little different now.
And then at St. X, I played defensive line, and it wasn't until college at Vanderbilt where I was switched over to the offensive line.
Did you even know that going into college? Did you think
I did. I mean, I knew it. I was kind of built for it. My dad was a former offensive lineman, played for U of L, All-American.
Gotcha.
Giant man, and I was getting in his footsteps.
Yeah.
I mean, my freshman year, I was only 5'11", 140. But my senior year, I was 6'5", 240. So I grew that much in my 4 years at X.
So, as you may know, the CSAA Toy Bowl is now the Catholic Education Foundation Toy Bowl.
Nice.
So, the CF is the title sponsor for that and the basketball championship. So,
and there's just quite a few. There's a lot of less teams. I mean, when I went through it, we had 8 in our division. I think there was 24.
Well, every school had their own team then.
Oh, for sure.
Now there's Central Catholic, who won the 8th grade bigger school division, has 9 schools and one team. It's football's changed a lot. People are worried about getting hurt and everything else, but it's certainly changed. Now it's still great, and I know, Rich, I know that CF is a proud sponsor of the Toy Bowl, right?
Yeah, we love it. We love aligning with those guys and gals because we've got so much in common, right? I mean, for us, the answer is yes, is sort of the mantra, and for CSAA, everybody plays.
That's right.
So it's a great connection for us. We're proud to be a sponsor of it.
I coached the Holy Trinity Eagles for a while.
Okay.
When I came back to Louisville, my kids went to Holy Trinity, so I helped out. And
Did you win any?
we did, and it was a lot of fun. And Holy Trinity's it's a big school, and there's 3 classes in each grade. Mm-hmm. But by the time I went to X and started coaching, there wasn't that many kids playing. Mm-hmm. Even though there was 45 potential boys in 5th grade and 45 more in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. And, they struggle with the numbers in football, but that seems to go away when they get to high school. Still plenty of kids playing high school ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you actually play in a CSAA Toy Bowl?
I did. My 7th grade year at St. Agnes, we won one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you still remember that to this day?
Oh, absolutely. I was tight end, defensive end.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
So
my
cool.
brother, I think my brother made every tackle one. I mean, I'm not kidding you. My dad used to pay us for making tackles.
Okay.
Like a quarter for a solo,
Bill
a dime
Belichick.
for an assist tackle. Mm-hmm. And I would get like $1, and my brother would walk away with like $6. I mean, truly, a big play was $1. So you like tackle a guy, rip the ball away from him, and go score and get $1. So
that goes a long way.
Money motivates you.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah, still does.
Still does. That's right. Well, let's talk about your days at St. X. What were some of your highlights at your time there?
Oh, as a player?
Both. Just your time, at St. X, as a player, as a student.
Well, as a player, it was. I mean, my freshman year, truly, in football, I didn't play a play. I just wasn't very good. I wanted to be a running back. I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't good enough. So I sat on the sidelines a lot.
Now, was this freshman or this varsity?
This freshman.
Okay.
Freshman year at Axe.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then even in basketball, which I loved, I didn't start. I was like the 6th or 7th man. I came off the bench. But a year later, as a sophomore, I just matured. I grew up. I was like 6'3" now, and I'm 185, and all of a sudden I can run. Mm-hmm. I ran track that year and actually did okay. And then from then on, every football game I played in, I started. And as a sophomore, if I wouldn't have screwed around so much on the sidelines as a freshman and had such a reputation as a guy who goofed around,
right?
I was a pretty good sophomore as a defensive end. I scored about 5 touchdowns myself, blocking punts and just ripping the ball away from guys and whatever.
Okay.
But, my athletic career was on my sophomore year on.
Who was the head coach at X at the time?
Mike Stewart.
Mike. Okay. That's what I thought. Great man.
But I did a lot better in basketball than I did in football, because in football, junior year, I break my hand in training camp and I miss 2 weeks. And then I come back, and in the St. Trinity game as a junior, I break my leg completely in half. So my junior year is 3 games total.
Yep. Ouch.
But I recovered enough to play basketball. So teams started recruiting me again for college. And then my senior year, I catch viral meningitis right at the end of training camp. And I literally go from 240 to 210 in a week.
Wow.
Went to the hospital, in a coma for a day. Didn't know if it was viral or spinal, and it was just a virus, so I got over it. And a lot of guys on our team ended up with viral meningitis, and it really hurt our season. But I didn't play very well as a senior because I wasn't in shape. I mean, instantly I couldn't catch my breath. But luckily, I recovered enough to play basketball. So when I played basketball, the teams came back to offer me scholarships.
Oh, that's good. So
basketball saved my football career.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question here. 'Cause being a former high school coach, I have a son who's a sophomore, and I'm watching him and his friends try to juggle multiple sports. It's really hard. Now, I know football is a little bit different. Football, you can typically play basketball and football, and football coaches will allow it. But, man, anything else, it's really hard. And now basketball has become full year. And if you're not doing basketball year-round, you get behind. What's your thought on multiple sport athletes in high school, and how and why is it so difficult at some of these prominent schools to do it?
I guess just from my own personal experience, I'm a big fan of it. My dad was a big fan of it because he made me run track as well. So I went from football, basketball to track, and he just felt like they complemented each other because they were going to make me a better player. And it really did help me when I got to the college level as a lineman. Your footwork and pass protection as an offensive lineman is a lot like your footwork and defensive drills, cutting off the baseline, playing basketball.
Yeah.
Your feet wide, don't cross them, keep them in quick feet, whatever. But my dad really pushed me to do it. And then having witnessed it, and I've coached grade school and I've coached high school, to me, I always thought it was kind of a mistake unless it was the kid's decision. In my opinion, a lot of it was the parents' decision. They were like, no, we need to put all our eggs in one basket. You need to just play one sport. When I think kids would benefit from playing multiple sports, different relationships built, because that's what's going to carry long term.
Yep.
I don't know if you're going to be a first-round pick, but I do know that someday you're going to be out in the workforce somewhere, and the more relationships you can build and more teams you can be a part of and learn how different teams work, do it. Yeah. But I don't know. A lot of parents decide early on, if in eighth grade they would have had me in no athletics. Mm-hmm. They would say, no, you better do well in school. You're not playing any of them.
Right.
You never know, because kids grow up differently.
Sure.
And some of them mature right away. In eighth grade they're fully mature and they're already shaving. Some kids aren't. I didn't shave until like I was 24.
Yeah.
So it worked for me. But either way, as long as the kids are on board, you don't want your kid looking back going, man, I should never have quit basketball. I should never have quit baseball. I have a cousin, Bobby Wolford, who we were the same class growing up. Everybody thought we were twins. And Bobby decided he was just going to play basketball at St. X. And Bobby was bigger than me, much bigger building. He was a hell of an athlete. And he probably should have played football, but he really should have played baseball because he was left-handed and he was a pitcher.
There you go.
And he's 6'5" and he's 250.
Yeah, right.
But he loved basketball and he put all his eggs in that one. And he still regrets it.
I bet.
That he didn't stick with baseball, because he could have played at a pretty high level.
Yeah. Speaking of growing up, tell us about Catholic education and the effect that it's had and the impact that it's had on your life.
I think for me, the biggest part was just the discipline involved. And, academically, there's no doubt I was a decent student, scored way too high on the entrance exam. So I was in the honors classes at St. X, and it was not easy. And there's nothing wrong with things not being easy, because it forces you to work. And sometimes, getting knocked down and getting back up will teach you more than anything. Yeah. And academically, I had my struggles at X off and on, and athletically I did, and I learned a lot from it. And no one, my dad certainly did not make it easy for me either. And that's something nowadays I think parents are always a little bit too. They're trying to make things easy for their kids. Yep. And you know what? They can learn a lot from losing. They can learn a lot from flunking a class. They can learn a lot from getting knocked down and getting. Learning the hard way or not playing. I wanted to quit football after my freshman year. My dad wouldn't let me, one, and then two, I did grow up and physically and mentally and ended up being a player. But you learn a lot from getting knocked down, and I think the discipline that you learn at a school like St. Agnes and St. X, it's going to last you the rest of your life. And I was always very grateful for being in Spanish and not doing very well, and having Brother Edward literally slap me in the head to wake me up, say, "Hey, you got to do your homework better. You got to study more." And I'm like, you know what? I needed that.
I lived that life too. Rich, Will's just another example of the incredible value of Catholic education.
Yeah, I think. Look, he went to what is still today a fantastic grade school. St. X, a wonderful community to this day, and of course, we're all big St. X fans, and I think Will's right. I think particularly from middle school through grade 12, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get knocked around a lot. You're going to fail a lot. And it is all about the learning. How do you learn to deal with that? Now, you could go sort of right or left. And I think particularly our teachers, our counselors, our administrators in our school, they really push you to make sure you go the right way.
Oh, yeah.
And there's two ways to learn, right? And I think even as I look at my own kids that went through that system, or myself, that challenge, that push, that tough love, if you will, makes a huge difference in everybody's life. And that's Catholic education. That's what it really is.
Yeah, my daughters were Holy Trinity and then Sacred Heart, and it wasn't always easy for them. And
nope.
We didn't help make it easy for them either. They learned a lot, and then they went on to college and they did really well, and they're all employed. which is nice. 'Cause with AI coming, I think they're all going to keep their jobs too. And they've done real well for themselves. But they had to do it for themselves. We can only help them so much.
Understood. All right, well, let's talk about the process of selecting Vanderbilt.
The V.
You obviously, listen, Nashville's an unbelievable place.
Well, it wasn't when I went to school there, let me tell you.
It was something less.
A little bit different.
Back in 82 to 86, it was like E-Town, believe me. There was not much going on.
Hey, you wouldn't recognize E-Town if you drove through there right now.
I think
E-Town's grown up.
Surpassed them a little bit.
A little bit. But why Vanderbilt?
Well, one, they recruited me from day one, and I didn't have that many schools after me because I was so inconsistent in my football career. But Kentucky was after me, Vanderbilt was after me, and Notre Dame was after me. Notre Dame ended up pulling the scholarship 2 weeks before the signing date because you didn't commit early back then. You waited till the day of and made your decisions.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So I take my visit to Notre Dame 2 weeks before the signing date. I miss a basketball game. I missed 2 basketball games. I missed a weekend to do it, so I'm kind of mad about that. And Jerry Faust, he talks to me at the end of the visit and for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, I think he's pulling the offer. And sure enough, he was. They pulled the offer because it was his first year, and what a great recruiting class. And we've had all these guys commit, and if any one of these guys don't accept the scholarship, it's yours. And I talked to my dad, and he's like, you're not going to be second fiddle for anybody. So then it came down to Kentucky and Vanderbilt. And really, my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, Jude, Judge Wolford, she wanted to go to Vandy, and my cousin Bobby Wolford ended up going to Vanderbilt. And a lot of friend of mine, they all wanted to go to Vandy because they were, academically a very strong school. I wanted to be an engineer at that time, and that was the difference between those two.
Okay.
So it really wasn't. I did tell like Tennessee no, and a handful of schools. Were
they mad when you said no?
Well. Yeah, Johnny Majors may have cussed me out on the phone.
Okay, there you go.
But hey, I was playing basketball, so I didn't want to take 6 visits and miss everything. So it came down to those 2 schools. Louisville was in the mix because my dad was there, but they weren't really in the mix because in '82,
who was the coach?
They didn't have a very good. I think it was Weber.
Yeah, it was right before Howard Schellenberger.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were seriously thinking about dropping to the OVC because they were not doing well football-wise.
I remember that.
But ended up going to Vanderbilt, and it was a great decision, but it was a very difficult decision. My first year at Vanderbilt in training camp, one, they were pretty good. They were coming off a season with George McIntyre, where his first year he won 1 game, 2 games, and then 4 games, and then my freshman year we won 8. But we had a really talented team. And I'm a freshman. I didn't know anybody. And when you go to training camp, it's a month long back then. You go a month early, and I'm in camp, and they're moving me to offensive line, and having no friends on the team and no one, my wife's not in school yet. My cousin Bob's not in school yet. That was one of the most difficult periods of my life, but yet it was one of the best because everyone gets hurt, and I end up starting.
Oh, wow.
So I'm starting as a freshman. We're playing Georgia, and I'm playing 2 guys that are both first-round draft picks, and it was a wild year, but it was. I credit St. X and the discipline and the toughness that I learned that, hey, I've been in this situation before, because you wake up some days, you're like, I don't care what's going on. I'm quitting. I'm done. My body hurts. I'm getting beat up every day. But you get over it, and you go back out there and see what happens the next day.
Well, you had an experience most people dream about when it comes to kind of being on the field with some of those legends. Any experiences, anything you can share with us during your time, kind of in the SEC days?
Oh, gosh.
What sticks out?
Just some of the guys I played against. I mean, Reggie White, I played against Reggie 3 years. He was a year ahead of me. But he hadn't really turned it on yet.
Okay.
But he was the size of that door. I mean, he was 6'6", 295.
Yep.
He was not fat. But you didn't want to make him mad.
Okay.
So I made the mistake of making him mad, but I was playing guard at the time, and he was lined up in nose tackle. A lot of times when you're guard and throwing the ball, you don't have much to do. So I'm like, I'm just going to tee off and hit Reggie, who's bull rushing the center.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I did, and I caught him pretty good right in the ribs. I should never have done that because all of a sudden we got Angry Reggie, and Angry Reggie is the guy you saw in the NFL.
Right.
He was a beast. He really didn't turn it on until his senior year either. But
who's your quarterback at Vandy then?
Well, we had a number of them, but my first year, Whit Taylor. And Whit was a little guy, but he was great. He was a great player, and he was a great leader. we had a lot of fifth-year seniors on our team.
Gotcha.
And me.
Yeah.
Actually, we had a handful of freshmen who all played with a bunch of fifth-year seniors. But Whit Taylor, Kurt Page, Mark Ratcher, after our freshman year, we didn't have a lot of success. But my junior year, we did open up. We were 4-0 and beat Alabama for the first time ever down in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, wow.
Really?
And it was the first year after Bear Bryant had died and walked away. So we caught him at the right time. And we had a nice team. And we're 4-0 and we're ranked in the 17th in the country, and then we go on to lose 6 out of our next 7 or whatever it was. It was just so embarrassing. And we literally averaged 5.5 turnovers a game.
Gotcha.
We found incredible ways
to turn the ball over.
This is all right, real quick. Playing at Georgia.
Okay.
It's 21-0 Georgia. There's like 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And we turn it on. Things go our way. They start fumbling, bumbling. All of a sudden, it's 21-all going into halftime. 21-all, and there's a minute to go, and we got the ball. So all of a sudden, it's 21-21. And they scored. No, there had been more time than that. There was like 5 minutes to go. End of the first quarter, it's 21-0 them. We tied up 21-all. We got the ball. We're in midfield, all the momentum. It was 42-21 at halftime. We threw a pick for a touchdown. They kicked off to us. We fumbled the kickoff. They scored in a play. And then they held us, and they threw a Hail Mary pass. So it was like 42-21 at halftime, and we had tied it up.
So that was kind of the
after
story
being down 21-0. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah,
it should never have happened then. But we had some wild games there. But I played with some great guys and played against some tremendous talent.
Well, talk to us about your NFL draft experience. First round draft pick. How exciting was that?
Well, it was a lot different back then. I mean, cable TV had just started to come around a little bit. ESPN was pretty much in its infancy.
Is it 86?
Yes. And
who was number one there? Was that Bo Jackson?
Bo Jackson, yeah.
Oh, he was okay.
Bo was the man.
He was okay.
I played in a All-Star game with Bo. He was unbelievable. If he'd have stayed healthy his entire career,
he was a real deal. No doubt.
It was Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker, and choose one or the other.
Yeah,
I probably would have taken Bo. He was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, he was.
Well, the KA fraternity house where my cousin Bobby Wolford was at, they had cable TV, so kind of camped out there, and I had a couple friends there. But it was also in the middle of exam week, so I'm waiting. Luckily, the draft back then would start at 8 a.m, and I was the 20th pick, so I was drafted around noon.
So you didn't even think about being there?
No, no one did.
Did anybody go to the draft back then?
Okay.
Did anybody physically?
No one went to the draft back then. No.
Not like it is today.
No, not at all.
Did you know you were going to go pretty early?
Everyone told me that, but I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Buffalo has the 16th pick, and they take Ronnie Harmon, a running back out of Iowa. And then right before the 20th pick, the phone rings, and Bill Polian, the general manager, says, "Hey, what do you think about being a Buffalo Bill?" And I said, I'd love to. That's the only answer you can give. And at that time, Buffalo was not very good. They were 2-14 the year before, and they were the bottom of the ring. And he goes, "Well, sit tight. We'll see what we can do." He doesn't tell me they're getting ready to trade. Making a trade for me at the 20th pick.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, they have like the first pick of the second round. So I'm like, this is great. I'm not going to go in the first round. I'm going to go to Buffalo, who's one of the worst teams in the league,
cold
in the second.
Right.
So I'm just shooting baskets and hanging around, watching the TV that we had set up outside the K house. And again, there's like 7 people there total. And sure enough, they make a trade with the 49ers. And with this pick, they select the Buffalo Bills. So it was a huge surprise. And
it had to have been an amazing.
It was unreal, because maybe I should have known, but I did not know they were getting ready to do what they did.
Wow.
So
how cool.
And then I had to leave and go take an exam. So I showed up like a half hour. I showed up a half hour late, left a half hour early, and I got a C. So
well, good for you. That's crazy. Now, when was it when you and Jude got married? Was it around this time?
No, we got married in 88.
So a couple years later.
My first year, we did not live together. She started law school at U of L. And then actually towards the end of my first year, she came up to hang with me because it was such a brutal first year. That was my first year in college and my first year in the NFL. They were both tough. But it was in 88 after my second year that we got married.
Okay.
and she transferred to UB Buffalo, and
Mm-hmm.
and she did real well in law school. She won the mock trial deal and ended up with the job offer from the U.S. Attorney's Office, which was a big deal at that time. And
Yeah.
she took it.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool.
So what was that first year like at Buffalo? Why was it so tough, other than being completely new?
Well, Marv Levy wasn't there yet, and our head coach at that time was Hank Bull, and he was about as old school as you could get. And our training camps were brutal. We had 3 practices a day, and sometimes if he was angry, we would be in full pads for each one of them. And once the season started, you were off on Tuesday, but Wednesday and Thursday, as a rookie, I was getting as many plays in each day as I would on Sunday in the game. And it was full go. You just couldn't cut anybody, but it was full speed. Inside drill, team period, blitz pickup period. It was live. It was full go. And, you know, I'm still a young kid at that time. I was potential, but and I was playing because there was, again, a couple injuries. So it was just physically, I'm like, I don't have shin splints. I have body splints. I think I'm dying. It was a brutal year. And then luckily, halfway through it, you know, he gets fired and Marv Levy takes over, and immediately things changed, including, you know, save the physical part for game day, which, you know, it saved my career, because there was many days I woke up going, I'm done.
I can't do this.
Here's your money back. I'm going to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't have a lot. I mean, we have a few people from this area, from Louisville, that have gone on and had long, successful NFL careers. It's pretty amazing what you were able to accomplish. Give us some of your best NFL stories. So Jim Kelly was your quarterback at one point, right?
The whole time.
The whole time?
Yeah, Jim came in.
Same year you did, right?
Yeah, except he was drafted a couple years before, and he went and played in the USFL for 3 years.
Right. That's
so
right.
Jim's 3 years older. So I signed, and he signed like the next week. But
So you're part of that resurgence of the Bills being good.
for sure, because we weren't very good the first year,
Right.
or the second year. But in '88 we started to turn it on. Because my last 5 years in Buffalo, I was there 7 years. My last 5 years, I don't think we lost a home game, maybe 1 or 2 that really mattered. Sometimes at the end of the season, you would sit everybody and kind of tank one. But no, playing with Bruce Smith and Darryl Talley and Cornelius Bennett and Shane Conlon, and on the offensive line, we had a great offensive line with Howard Ballard and Ken Hull, one of my very best friends, and Thurman Thomas in the backfield, and Andre Reed at wideout, and Don Beebe at a wideout, and James Lofton, and we had a really nice team. And unfortunately, we did not win a Super Bowl. But
you went there a few times.
That's the only thing we didn't do. We did everything else.
How'd you react to the Don Beebe play?
Pretty good, because actually,
right?
if you watch that early on, me and another guy just hit each other and fall down because we were so tired. But at that time, we were getting beaten so badly. It was like, good job, but we're getting humiliated. I don't know what the score was, but it was already out of hand. But a couple of the highlights, we played the Raiders when we weren't supposed to beat them. They were favored in the AFC Championship game, the first Super Bowl run in '90.
Mm-hmm.
And Al Davis brought in like Otis Sistrunk and Jack Tatum and Ted Hendricks and all these old players, and brought them in to the game as his guests. And in pregame warm-up, when we're spread out just stretching, getting going, he walked through our stretching line with all those guys and their big furs and hats, and they were just strutting in, not looking at anybody, and we're like, what the? You just don't do that.
Right.
Nope.
So Marv Levy's pregame speech, which he always had some good ones, he just said something to the effect that if I have to say anything to fire you up after what they just did during stretching, I don't think I have to say anything. And we went out there and we had them 41-3 at halftime.
Wow.
We just ran them out of the building. And to this day, I can't believe Al Davis's ego was that strong.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they only let people on the sideline, much less 20 of your former players to walk through
the
stretch line of the home team.
Golly.
But we had some great wins and played with some great guys. But I was so lucky to be involved. I played with 3 running backs. Thurman Thomas.
Yeah, one of the best ever.
Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
And Jerome Bettis.
Oh my gosh.
So
okay.
all those guys are first ballot Hall of Famers, which to me is there should be a different Hall of Fame for first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
So yeah, I was good, but I was flocking for guys.
You got to make the holes for those guys.
Really good.
Yeah.
It was when you play for, you block for a good one, you just know, you get to know them, I hold on a little bit longer, it's going to be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of, you get to know them a little bit. But
who's the best you've ever played with? Either with or against?
If I had to draft, I would probably draft Thurman Thomas out of all the guys I played with.
Yeah.
He did everything.
Yep.
And he was a great receiver, and he's a great running back. And
great teammate too, right?
He was. He played angry.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of guys did. He played angry, which carried over to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you were in a tough spot or whatever, Thurman, but it's kind of tough because Jim Kelly was such a great player. Yep. Bruce Smith is probably the greatest Bill of all time.
Yeah. And
I played with and against Bruce, and and I guess Bruce and Thurman both. But again, I played with Harbaugh. Harbaugh was a lot of fun to play with, but he doesn't really make the list.
Okay.
Jerome Bettis was awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to keep him out of there, and he was a lot of fun to play with. He's such a good guy, great person.
Who was the toughest person to block?
Joe Klecko, easily. Joe got in some trouble after his football career, and it delayed his entry into the Hall of Fame, but he just got in like last year, the year before. But Joe Klecko's the only player to make the Pro Bowl at nose tackle, defensive guard, defensive end, and he was easily the most respected guy in the league when I played.
Interesting.
He intimidated everyone, including me.
Yeah.
And he was a scary man to go against.
Okay.
That's back in 86, 87, and 88 when I wasn't very good and he was. And, my offensive line coach was like, just cut him because there's no way you're going to be able to block him. And I was like, okay. And then don't look him in the eye, because if you look him in the eye, it just makes him mad because he was so wired. But he was a great football player. There were stories of him taking two rookie defensive linemen by the belt and pressing them over his head.
Oh, my goodness.
Human weight. They're both like 250, 260. And he was able to do that. And he was only 260 himself.
He was a freak.
No, but he was such a good player. He was a smart player, too. I'm glad his career ended a couple years after when mine started.
It's kind of cool how Eric Wood kind of went through your footsteps a little bit. And obviously as a famed Bill now. Are you and Eric close?
Yes, we are. We very close. We go to I go to a couple of Bills games a year, and we always connect and go out to dinner. And he's doing the radio, so he's got to work a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Eric's a great guy. He represents the Bills extremely well. Luckily, at the end of his career, he got to taste, going to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't really you get to the playoffs, they're not paying you like they pay you during the regular season.
Right.
Usually it's a lot less. But yet it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great experience.
Yeah.
And Eric got to enjoy that. Now with radio, he's with them all the time, and they're having a heck of a run.
Well, you mentioned your family earlier, but tell us about your family, and were you raising your family during your time playing in the NFL?
Not really. I mean, in Buffalo, we did not have children, even though my firstborn, Grace, my oldest, was born in Buffalo. Then we immediately went to the Colts because of free agency.
Got it.
So, and then my second-born was born in Indy, and then we pretty much immediately went to Pittsburgh because of free agency. So even in Pittsburgh, when at that time my third was my first Kentucky bred, so my third one, she wins, born in Kentucky.
That's funny.
That's the only time that they really don't remember it because they were Gracie the oldest with I think maybe did half a year at kindergarten, and then my career was over, so they don't really remember it then. But we usually we do go to one Buffalo Bills game a year. Go early, stay the whole weekend, go to a couple of restaurants where I used to go, and they get a huge kick out of that now.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly their husbands, and they'll all be married by next May. So their husbands really enjoy it as well.
So I remember being a freshman at St. X, 1994, walking in the shiny, awesome, unbelievable weight room. And I remember, obviously being attributed to you, being, a big benefactor of St. X. You've done so many things, and you've contributed in so many ways to our city since playing football. Tell us what you're most proud of.
Just that I've lucky enough to be in that position to give back. And I think that a lot is influence from my parents, certainly, because I started giving back financially as soon as I could. I was a first-round pick, so at that time, I was making more money than I knew what to do with. Well, quite a bit of it I would donate back to St. X or Vanderbilt or different charities of cities that I lived in. In Buffalo, I was there 7 years year-round, so I got involved in the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. There was kind of my main one, but Ken Hull and I would also buy 15 season tickets each and donate them to different charities throughout the year for people to come to games. And, it was, just a great honor to be able to do that.
Sure.
And not all guys do, but I kind of always have. And I've been involved in a number of different charities, and I'm just very thankful that I've been in position that financially, I can help out. I don't always, there's time, treasure, talent. I don't always do some of the other stuff. I've never viewed myself as a celebrity, and Louisville's a great city to live in because most people, if they know me, they do know me, and they don't treat me that way.
Right.
But if I go back to Buffalo, things are a little different up there.
I bet.
So like Jim Kelly has a charity golf tournament every year, and I make sure I always do something there, either buy an item or buy a team or support him. And that's kind of the reunion every year. And he's been doing that 30 years.
Wow.
Well, you're a wealth advisor now, so I would assume you're smart with your money, and I guess that was part of it.
I tried to be.
Yeah.
If you looked at my financial career and what I've given away and some of the decisions I've made, maybe not, but I'm pretty smart the last 17 years since I joined up with Tom Peroni over at Morgan Stanley. We've done okay.
Tom Peroni's a friend of the foundation, Rich.
Yeah, he's a 3-time director on our board, a huge benefactor to what we've been doing for a long time. Has done wonders for our investment committee. Our endowment today, let's see, our endowment when I started was 16 million. Today it's approaching 50. And people like Tom, Neil Ramsey, Steve Sawtell, there's a number of guys, professionals, that have just made that happen. It didn't happen by itself. And I realized through that experience the value of really, really good financial advice.
Certainly one of the best decisions that I've ever made. I mean, I think, who you marry is an important one.
Yep.
What job and career you end up taking. But to partner up with Tom, which again, it's been 17 years now, it has just worked out. It couldn't have worked out any better. Not just business-wise, but just the relationship that we have. We were friends at St. X, but we didn't hang at St. X.
Right.
We certainly became friends once I moved back to Louisville.
Yep.
After my career was over. But no, Tom's as good as they get, and most people in the business will tell you. Even if they're competitors of him, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Peroni's good."
Yeah, he is.
Here's the question everybody probably wants me to ask, though. How did you manage to become the head football coach at St. X while working in professional investment advisor at Morgan Stanley?
Because of the teams that I was involved with.
Right.
The St. X coaching staff team and the team at Morgan Stanley with Tom. It wasn't as difficult as you would think. I would spend most days up until around 11 or so. I would go in early at work at Morgan Stanley, and then in the afternoon, I'd head over to St. X and stay there as long as I had to. And I would do that pretty much every day. And I could never have done that if I didn't have the group of people that I work with, certainly at Morgan Stanley, because it's more than Tom and I. There's Brett and Todd and Ed and Amy and Heather and a whole bunch of people on our team that make things go.
Yeah, they do.
And you can't do it without, no one does it by themselves. And then you get to St. X, and so many of the coaches were teachers in the school and so passionate about the school and coaching.
Yep.
No, couldn't do it by myself, that's for sure.
How was it coaching at St. X? What was that, 5 years?
5, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that experience. I mean, you were a player there. You come back later as a coach, the head coach, by the way. What was that experience like?
And I know when they hired you, there was a one-man. I mean, it was it. They were coming after you, and that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a tremendous experience. It was certainly life-changing because, I had coached, grade school, and I coached some freshman football over at X. But when you're the head coach of the, just my first year, there was 112 juniors and seniors. There's 75 sophomores. There's 100+ freshmen. And you got one football. So, I mean, you're dealing with all kinds of players and whatnot, but you just the love of the game carries you. And it was wild for a while, and it took me plenty of time to really feel good about the coaching that I was doing and the guys I had around the kids and building out the program. And by the end of it, I felt really good about coaching and the guys at the program and the direction of the program. But the only drag on the whole thing, we talked about a little bit.
Yep.
Kids get in trouble, and when they get in trouble, you've got to handle it. And that's easier said than done back then, because I was used to being judge, jury, and executioner when kids do stupid stuff, which when you're coaching hundreds, they're going to do dumb stuff. I did dumb stuff, so I could relate, you know, and then when I did it, I was punished. We got over it, and I moved forward, and hopefully I learned from it. And I was not able to do judge, jury, and executioner at that time. It's just not the way things at St. X went. You know, you had to write it up, send it up the flagpole, and wait for it to come back down and find out what the decision is on the disciplinary action. And that part of it was a little bit of a drag because I spent a lot of time, because of the numbers of the kids, not coaching football, but trying to handle
dealing with stuff.
Handle stuff you don't want to deal with.
Why'd you get out?
Oh, health reasons, 100%.
Okay.
If you've ever had atrial fib or atrial flutter, I've dealt with it almost my entire life. It started my senior year in college, and it doesn't get better. It only gets worse. And, I stepped down at the end of 17, and 18, 19, 20, I had 4 different heart surgeries and procedures, and I don't know how many cardioversions. I can't tell you. Anybody who's ever been through that, they know it. But since 2020, things have been really good. Dr. Henry Sadlow, God love him.
One of our faves.
He
is.
He truly walked me through it, especially when things were not good in 2020. I had an ablation surgery in early 2020, and it just didn't go well after 2 of them the previous years. And he ended up getting me down at the Emory Clinic, and he got me with the best of the best right when COVID was hitting. Truly one of the first surgeries that they opened up Emory Hospital for. I was one of the first non-24-hour emergency surgeries. And so since then, I've been doing fine. But, at that time, I just didn't want to tell people. And I probably shouldn't have said that right now, because half the people just turn your show off. And say, I don't want to hear about
No, I don't know about
I don't
stuff
think
like
so.
that. I don't think so.
But hey, if
either.
you've had atrial fib or flutter, give me a call. I can help you out.
Well, I think people appreciate real talk, right? And that's what that is. I mean, you're being real with everybody and telling everybody the situation. I know St. X has probably begged you to come back since, haven't they, and come help?
Oh, I've wanted to, and then I'll check in with the doctor, and they're like, maybe you shouldn't. No. I feel bad too, because believe me, my mind's writing checks my body couldn't cash. Because I would meet with Coach Wallace, and I'd be like, dude, I really want to help you. I want to be there. And then, I get time to think about it. I'm like, I just can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Well, you've done a ton of community service work in your life. There's Metro Police Foundation, St. X Board of Directors, St. X Capital Campaign Co-Chair, Kids Cancer Alliance. That's just naming a few. That doesn't even mention the Catholic Education Foundation. How do you do it all?
Oh, it's not that hard. I really don't do that much. I just, I do what I can and help out when I can. It's not that big of a time commitment at all. But most of those are run by friends of mine, and I know how efficient they are. I know how good they are. I know the money goes to where it's supposed to go. I remember when I was playing, the NFL had a deal with United Way, and they would take money out of our check, and we didn't have a decision to say yes or no. They would take it out and give it to United Way. Because of their partnership with them, they went ahead and made that decision. And a lot of the older players are like, if you give them $100, do you know where that $100 goes? 98% and $98 of it is probably paying people's salary and whatever. And so I knew early on that I wasn't going to get behind things unless I knew they were efficient.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where I've focused over the years, and all the foundations you've mentioned have all done a really good job.
Speaking of being efficient, This guy right here, Catholic Education Foundation.
We're trying to follow in his footsteps for sure. No, Will has been, look, and we didn't even talk about the capital campaign that he co-chaired several years, 20 years ago, that really transformed that whole campus.
Oh,
what
yeah.
you see today, the football stadium, baseball, track, that whole complex, which is amazing. He led that entire effort. What was that, a $28 million campaign, $30 million or something?
It went over. But it started off 28. That was kind of unique. My first board meeting ever was like 2000 or 2001. And at that time, my first meeting, they're voting on to put all that money into the existing location or move the school.
Yep.
And it's my first meeting, so I'm like, I don't feel comfortable voting on this decision. And there was an argument for both. I mean, it's like, if we're going to stay here, we got to make it worth coming to, or we go to the better location. It's going to cost twice as much money. And at that time, they voted to stay there. And I kept thinking, I don't know, location. I would have moved the school. But then that campaign came around, and they did that. They've made the school worth driving to for sure. And every piece of the campus is gorgeous, except for the football locker room, which they're finally getting around to doing now, which is really nice. But that campaign at that time for a high school to take on, a $30 million deal was huge.
And to do it successfully.
Okay?
And within the kind of time allotted. All right. It was incredibly successful, and it launched the next campaign, which I think was a 50 or 51 million campaign a few years ago. If St. X hadn't done what they'd done under Will's leadership, that would have never happened.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have
I don't know how much that was my leadership. That was a lot of Perry Sangali right there.
Well,
he did a nice job. And most St. X grads, it wasn't if they were going to give, it was just how much and how much they could give. Because at that time, they needed to either move or upgrade the campus. So I think they made the right decision. I would have been wrong.
I hear I don't know a whole lot of details. Well, maybe you can't share, but I hear the football locker room. I hear there's a video board coming. I hear some upgrades are coming to the campus.
Get out your checkbook. Let's donate and get it done. It's about time. They're for when I was coaching there, my big plan was, all right, we're going to win. We're going to win a state championship. I'm going to walk into Perry's office, Perry Sangali, and say, all right, let's fix the locker room, because the lower locker room is the same exact locker room that I was in. I had the same locker from football to basketball, and I kept it the whole time, and that locker room has not changed.
We all remember that well, I'm sure.
Maybe 25 years ago, they renovated the upstairs locker room, but I mean, it's so overdue, and I don't know how they made it through COVID because the ventilation's horrible.
Right.
But they did. But finally, they're going to make it where, it's going to rival a lot of colleges.
Yep.
And it's taken a while coming, but they're going to do it correctly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, look, I'll say a few words about Will. You're a very humble man, obviously very accomplished, but what I see in you is a lot of hard work, a lot of grit, a lot of never giving up, and a lot of success that has brought on a lot of generosity to a lot of different places, wherever you lived. And Louisville, quite honestly, has been very lucky that you came back home to help change our community, and I so much appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I mean, if you knew my father, you would know where that comes from. My dad, I found out from all his friends when I was older that he even played football and was really good at it, and because he certainly never
told you,
never said a word. But they were like, "Oh my God, your dad, this, that, and the other." It was just the way I was raised, and a lot of that's just me, the way most of my friends and I were raised. No one cares what you're saying; they care what you do.
Well, as Rich just said, you're a true hero in this town, and in other places where your life has led you. So on behalf of everyone in this community, thank you, and for the many great works in your life that serve as a reflection of your Catholic faith and your Catholic education. And Rich, as every Catholic school family in need now knows, at the Catholic Education Foundation,
the answer is yes.
Will, thanks for joining us today.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Will. God bless you.